Today I have with me Cary Judd. We're going to have a little discussion about if we were stuck on a desert island and were our own crews, which microphone and which audio recorder would we choose to do our video production. Let's start with you, Cary. First question, if you were stuck on a desert island and you could only choose one mic of all the mics you've used so far, which mic would it be?
I can't remember what it's called.
Here it comes. Wait for it.
The Sennheiser MKH8060.
Let's show the people.
P48.
Show the people that thing.
I just figure, why mess with the classic?
Why mess with the classic? Okay.
And now you're going to come with a bunch of reasons.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm actually interested in what you're going to say, because I don't know. I just knew this was a good one.
Okay.
It's worked well for me, and it's kind of an if it ain't broke kind of situation for me.
Yeah, no, it's a very popular microphone. I actually talked to some of the product managers at Sennheiser when I visited last year. And one of the things that they told me was they had originally, so this microphone was designed in the analog recording realm during those days. And so the recording media at the time, analog tape, had certain characteristics. And one of those characteristics was that it was not as good at picking up the high frequency sound.
Right.
And so what they did is when they created this microphone, they voiced it specifically so that it would emphasize some of the high frequency sound. Now in the digital world, digital recording, generally with the analog to digital converters we have today, they're actually quite good at capturing some of that high frequency sound. Yeah. So I think Sennheiser's original thinking was, okay, we're going to redesign these microphones. Among other things, we're going to revoice it for digital, but they also made them a lot smaller. So you have the MKH8050 and you have the MKH8060. The 8060 is actually, I think, the newer version of this basically, but it's a much smaller. And it's been revoiced, so it's not as sensitive in the high frequency range.
And it's smaller.
And it's smaller.
I changed to that one.
You want to change to the 8060? You've never even heard it.
If I'm on a desert island. Yeah. But if you're saying.
But anyway, this microphone has cult status, and in fact, my understanding is from Sennheiser, when they released the 8060, I don't know if they discontinued this or they certainly de-emphasized it. They weren't marketing it actively like they had in the past. And the feedback from the community was, we want our 416.
Huh.
So...
Yeah, well, I think coming from music background too, like a lot of times when I use an amp, I'll either record through a tube amp or I'll re-amplify things through my analog channel strip. Yep. And so, I mean, if I can cut out a step, that's probably better. But I haven't had this bother me yet on the top end. And, and I tend to have a sibilant voice. Okay. There's certain mics that I don't like on my own voice. But so far, so good. But
happy with it. Good. I think that's a fine choice. And it's about $1,000, right? Good. So it's one of those things. This is a microphone you can buy, and you have. And I'm going to guess this thing will last you, if you take care of it, even if you abuse it some, that in 20 years from now, you'll still have it, and it will still work great.
Yeah, I like that kind of mic.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
What about you? What's your desert island mic?
For film production.
For film production.
Only get to choose one mic.
Only one.
Okay. Can it be a wireless?
It can be any kind of mic you want, and you can have a blimp or any kind of wind filter, whatever.
Okay. So if you do choose a boom mic, I can also have. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I would choose of the mics I've used, I would choose the DPA 4017B, which is a small shotgun microphone. So whereas the Sennheiser, I don't actually have it here with me at this moment. This is the Sennheiser MKH8060. The DPA is probably about this long, and it's smaller. I think it might be smaller in diameter. Maybe it's the same in diameter. It's very lightweight. So when you're booming it out on the end of a boom pole all day long, it's really nice because there's less weight out there that you're booming. It sounds amazing. It does not use an RF bias design, which is what the Sennheiser uses. So it may not hold up as well in really humid conditions. This one will do really well in that, by the way. That's another reason why I think sound mixers still love this microphone. Yeah. It's like...
And we are on a desert island, so it's probably
that's
pretty
a good point.
humid.
It's a good point. You actually may have made a better choice than I have, but...
You're going to be over there teching your mic, and I'll just be trotting by.
You'll be on.
What's going on, brother?
We're halfway done with our production day. Where are you? We're just getting started.
Yeah.
So, no, it's a really good point, but I'm not usually shooting out in the rain, so I haven't generally had that problem. If I were...
You're not usually shooting on a desert island.
True, but if I were, maybe the 416 would be a better choice. But in any case, I do, for the work I do today, having that lighter weight mic out there that sounds amazing,
Yeah.
that has a high pass filter, it has a presence boost kind of filter on it as well. So I can dial in the sound that I want, so that's going to make it easier for post. It's a great mic. I can also swap out and use, they have a few different preamps you can pair with it, so you can get a slightly different sound as well.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right. Next up, what about a desert island recorder? If you could only choose one recorder, audio recorder, which one is it going to be?
MixPre 10. But I would get the M's.
You get the music plug-in.
I get the music plug-in, so
Okay.
at nights while everyone else is dancing around the bonfire getting wasted, I could record songs and stuff. I could demo some new tracks, like my hit at the car wash that we did for
That's
sound
right.
devices.
That's right. Okay. So this is the 10T. So this is the actual one that's made for filmmaking, but you would add the music plug into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
And-
get the best of both worlds.
And honestly, that's mainly because I know it has their Cashmere pickups, music, has their Cashmere preamps.
Yep.
And I'm familiar with it, so
Okay. That's why you chose it.
yeah.
It's also a sound devices. I'm pretty sure that we could probably drive your car and my car over that thing and it would still work.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Are there cars on this desert island? Is there a grip truck? Why are we so worried about this all of a sudden?
I don't know.
You know, and again, they make what's their top tier, like the 633 something.
633, 688. Yep.
Maybe that one. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever used that one.
Yeah, we
Or
happen
maybe
to.
I have. Is
we're-
that what yours is?
Yeah.
in there? What's that one in there?
We're recording right now with a 633.
I'll take that one.
You'll take this one. This does not have as many inputs. It only has 3 microphone inputs, 3 microphone preamplifiers, I should say, and it has 3 line inputs. Here you've got actually 8.
This is better because I can track drums.
Yeah. Okay.
Just kidding. No, you know, and this is a thing that I probably do to a fault sometimes. I would rather use gear that I know, have it my way around, than try something that I'm not sure about. I'm sure I could learn that pretty quickly.
Yep. You
But
could.
if I had to make a split-second decision, I'd be like, okay, I know this piece of gear.
This
I'm
is
gonna
one.
take this.
Okay. Fair enough.
So
Good. Okay. So so now we're going to ask me that question, but can I actually answer from 2 different perspectives? Would that be okay? Yeah. Because I need to cater.
okay,
to the
do I get a
audience
second
here.
answer?
Okay.
Okay, I want an Apollo with a generator as well.
Wow. Okay.
So that after hours I can be mixing the sound.
Okay, so for those of you that are not familiar, we're talking about the Universal Audio Apollo Thunderbolt interfaces that connect to your computer, which is
Yeah.
what you use for all of your music mixing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That aside, okay, what mixer or what?
Okay, so let me
recorder,
answer
what do you
for the more professional perspective and then from the more enthusiast perspective.
Okay.
So from the professional perspective, there's no question I would keep my 633, maybe upgrade to a 688, but the 688 is a much bigger
He's just
mixer.
showing off now.
When you're getting paid for jobs,
Yeah. No, you're right.
this is it.
You're not wrong.
Why would I do it? It is incredibly robust. It sounds fantastic. It is in a league of its own. It is incredibly flexible. It can. What are you doing?
I'm just seeing how robust it is. Something's falling off of it right there.
That's the bag. That's just
Oh.
a retention clip from the bag.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's cool. That's a good one.
So the output, all the routing is incredibly flexible. It has auto mix. So, for example, right now we're actually using auto mix here. So the idea is that as I'm talking, it is fading your mic back so that that's not contributing as much to the mix.
Oh.
When
Does mine
your-
not have that?
Yours does not have
I switch
that.
my choice. I switch the one I want.
Now-
See, if I'd known that, I would have never bought this hunk of junk. No,
Well,
I'm just kidding.
you actually talked to Dan Dugan at NAB last year, remember?
Yeah, I did.
So the guy that invented this brand of auto mix. So it's amazing. The problem is, of course, this is out of reach of most independent enthusiast filmmakers. It's a $3,300 mixer. Plus you have to
Oh,
buy the
yeah.
battery system. Plus you have to buy.
It just
all
depends
the other stuff.
on who's footing the bill for this production, really.
Yeah,
at
it's a good
that
point. It's a good point. So that would be from that perspective. Now, the next question I think most people would ask me is, would I get a Sound Devices MixPre or a Zoom F4 F8N? That's a tougher question.
I would get the Sound Devices
Oh, okay, let's explore this a little bit. So why would you get the Sound Devices over the Zoom?
for terrible reasons. They're so nice whenever we talk to them at NAB, and they're so like passionate and into it. And I feel like when we talked to the Zoom guys, I felt like I was talking to the clerk at Best Buy. When we go to Sound Devices, those guys are stoked. And we're stoked, and then everyone's just like,
yeah, I mean,
keep in mind, I'm coming from a very different perspective than Curtis. I'm shooting from the hip with most of my life in general. Not limited to gear. Oh yeah, you got that thing? Yeah, I'll get one of those. That works good, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll get one of those. That's how I make a lot of my gear decisions.
And actually, that's an interesting point to bring up, because that is the artistic perspective, really.
Yeah,
and I think there's something to be said for, you know what? Quit worrying about gear. Get out there and figure out what's going to work okay for you, and get out there and make cool stuff. And quit obsessing over gear.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, there's let me give you a little perspective on the Sound Devices versus Zoom thing in terms of what you mentioned about who we talked to. We were talking to the product designer, Paul Isaacs at Sound Devices.
Yeah.
Zoom is actually a Japanese company. Oh. They're not sending their guys there. That's Samuel Green is the guy that basically is kind of the face of Zoom USA.
Okay.
So he's in a kind of, I like Samuel a lot, and I think Samuel's in a different position where he can't necessarily, I don't think he's designing the gear. I think he's providing feedback to the Japanese, headquarters, but I don't think he's designing it necessarily. I'm not sure how that works.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different thing, and so there's that. But which one would I choose? Zoom F8N or MixPre? Well, I personally would choose the
MixPre.
I would choose the MixPre.
You would choose the MixPre.
But not because it's superior. I would choose
because you like Paul.
Because I do like.
He sees this.
I think Paul's a great guy. I really respect Paul, but that's not the reason I would choose it. I think.
So you don't like Paul?
I do like Paul. I said I like Paul, but what I would choose the MixPre because for the types of productions I shoot, it's actually a better fit. Now, here's the thing. That's not true across the board. There are certain situations where I think the Zoom is actually probably a better fit. And I think the reality is that you can't, between the Zoom F8N and the MixPre 10T or the MixPre 6 or whatever it is, you're not going to make a horrible decision. They both produce amazing quality audio recordings. I think that really what it comes down to is the emphasis or the kind of the strong points of each of them, which one fits your particular situation better. What do you need? Do you need analog limiters? Is that really, really important to you? Are you shooting horror films where 1 second somebody's whispering, the next second they're screaming?
Yeah.
Do you need control surfaces? Actually, they both now offer control surfaces. That's the text I sent you the other day. How many inputs do you need? And frankly, the Zooms are less expensive. You can get an 8-input Zoom F8N for about $1,000. The 8-input MixPre 10T is almost $2,000. So there's a difference there. What's your budget? Do you have to have inbuilt timecode in your recorder? If you do, then you might, the Zoom might make more sense unless you go to the 10T, in which case it does have inbuilt timecode, and the 3 and the 6 don't. So it just depends on what you're looking for. In terms of the audio quality, it's really hard to tell the difference between the Zoom and the MixPre, to be honest. And when I did a side-by-side comparison using the exact same microphone, same voice, it sounded almost identical. There was a tiny bit more bass in the MixPre preamps, but not by much. So.
Okay.
All right.
So
what are you going to shoot when you're on this desert island?
I don't know, something savage.
Something. All right. We will talk to you again next week. Get out there and make something cool.
Yeah, make something.